The new season of Squid Game hides many interesting secrets. There are even several connections with the legendary players from the first season. We will see all of that here. Let's begin. At the beginning of the Dolls game, Gi-hun checks his molar to make sure he still has the tracker his friends placed, but he discovers it was removed and becomes completely frightened. He even says the phrase, "I'm done for," as the camera zooms in on him. This scene is identical to one in season 1. I'm talking about when they played the cookie game, and Gi-hun realized that his umbrella shape was extremely difficult. Here, he says the same phrase, and the camera moves in the same way. The season begins with Gi-hun hunting down the recruiter of Squid Game. To do this, he teamed up with a mafia boss who has several henchmen under his command. But this man had already appeared in the first season. He is the loan shark who beat up Gi-hun for not paying his debts. Apparently, after season 1, Gi-hun sought him out to pay off his debts and hire him as an ally. After the Dolls game, all the players are scared, but Gi-hun gets up to speak with the guards. He claims that they now have the right to vote according to clause number 3. The way Gi-hun gets up is identical to how Sang-woo did in the first season. He also invoked clause number 3.
참가자 과반수가 동의를 하면 게임은 중단된다. 맞습니까?
If you type the words Squid Game 2 on Google, a card will appear at the bottom. If you click on it, a mini-game identical to the Dolls game will automatically begin. Here, you can participate with players, just like in the series. You must move forward and stop, avoiding detection by the doll. Of course, if you fail in the game, there won't be any shots or blood. The eliminated player will simply disappear. But if you win, you'll see a celebration animation. In the Dolls game, the trans player saved Gi-hun's life when he was about to fall. This happened in the same way as in season 1. Let's remember that in the Dolls game, Gi-hun fell near the finish line, but was saved by Ali. From that scene, we discovered Ali was a good and very trustworthy man. The same thing happens with the trans girl. From this point on, she becomes very reliable and vital to the series. Many were surprised that the frontman decided to participate in the games. But why did he do it? The answer seems to lie in season 1. In the final episode, we were shown a memory of the frontman talking to Il-nam, the creator of the games. Here, the frontman asked the old man why he wanted to participate. And he replied with the phrase, "The best way to enjoy these games is by playing them yourself." Got it? Apparently, these words did influence the frontman, and that's why he wanted to play again after so many years. In episode 1, Gi-hun's friends played a deadly game forced by the recruiter, but in the end, the boss let himself lose so his subordinate could survive. He did this because they were friends. He officiated his wedding and promised to take care of him. This sacrifice reminds us of the one we saw in the marble game of season 1. In that game, Gi-hun's friend, Se-byuk, developed a friendship with a young girl. In the end, the young girl let herself loose so Se-byuk could survive. A small controversy has arisen online since the trans girl is played by actor Park Sung-hoon, who is a cisgender man in real life. The complaint stems from the expectation that the character would be played by a real trans actress. In response to the controversy, the series director Hwang Dong-hyuk stated that he did want to cast a real trans actress, but it was very difficult since there aren't many openly trans actresses in South Korea, so it was easier for them to cast a cisgender man. Who is the doll in the post-credits scene? According to the series director, his name is Cheol-soo, and he is the boyfriend of the original doll. This doll is based on a character from Korean children's books. Let's remember that the original doll is also based on a book character. Her name is Young-him, and in the books, she is a close friend of Cheol-soo. Many believe the post-credits scene is showing a game Gi-hun will play in season 3. However, this might not be true. In the scene, we see that player number 100 is participating. This player already appeared in the season. He is the evil old man. However, if we look closely at the post-credits scene, we'll notice that the person with number 100 doesn't have gray hair. He's not an old man, so he couldn't be the same player. My theory is that this scene is from the past. Perhaps it's the game the frontman participated in when he was still a player. Let's remember that he won the games in 2015, so perhaps he faced this version of the doll's game. In episode 4, Thanos is beating up the YouTuber, but player number 1 intervenes. Here, they have an argument, but it escalates when Thanos tells him to go home and raise his own kids. From this point on, player number 1 loses his temper and beats him up. This has a clear explanation. Player number 1 is the frontman, and thanks to his brother, we know his wife died while pregnant. This means the frontman lost a child a long time ago. That's why he couldn't tolerate Thanos' comment and beat him up. At the end of the season, we learn that the ship captain is a traitor and has been sabotaging the policeman's plans from the start. This is more interesting if we remember that he spent 2 years exploring the sea alongside the policeman, searching for the Squid Game island. With what we know now, we can understand that the captain worked with the frontman from the beginning, hiding the island during all the searches. I would even dare to say that the frontman hired this man from the start to save his brother in last season's finale. Let's remember that the frontman shot him in the shoulder. Surely from this point on, he called this captain to save and care for him during these years. We all got that song from the Carousel game stuck in our heads. But where did it come from? Well, it's a very popular children's song in South Korea, and its name translates to round and round. Now I'll play the original version for you. I've read comments criticizing how it's inconsistent for Gi-hun to have his tracker removed from his mouth, while other characters were allowed to bring dangerous items into the games. For example, Thanos brought drugs, and the old woman brought a knife. This isn't a mistake. Let's remember that the game's purpose is to provide a spectacle for the VIPs. That's why they allow items that can cause violence or more action. But in Gi-hun's case, the tracker would have just ruined the games. In the new season, we are introduced to a woman who is a pink guard. We're also told that she fled North Korea, leaving behind her 1-year-old daughter. In this scene, she talks to a man helping her look for her child. This is the same man Sabio contacted in the first season. Let's remember that she also fled North Korea and needed this man to bring her mother to South Korea. In fact, in the same episode, Gi-hun also talks to this man, since they're still trying to bring Sabiok's mother to South Korea together.